Welcome everybody back. It's continuing to do our opponent previews for the Indiana State football season as we are inching now into week 3 of the season. Last year it was the season opener for Indiana State at Memorial Stadium. This year it's going to be a trip to Charleston. It'll be the first time that the Sycamores make that trip to Charleston, Illinois in over a decade. It'll be 2008 was the last time Indiana State went to Charleston, Illinois. EIU, Eastern Illinois, has won 6 games in a row in this series. They'll try to make it 7 in a row. One guy who's been able to call many of those games is Mike Brad. He's the voice of the Eastern Illinois Panthers, and Mike joins us here to talk about this Eastern Illinois team. Mike, it's good to catch up with you. Isn't it great that it's time to now start talking some football?
Yeah, good to talk with you too, Luke, and we're looking forward to it.
Let's get to the kind of the feeling Eastern Illinois fans have about this team heading into this year. Last year being finished 3rd in the Ohio Valley. Of course, they started the year off beating Indiana State. What's the gist of what Eastern Illinois fans like and kind of what they're looking forward to the most about this team?
I think they're most interested in how the Eastern offense will be this year. There's been a pretty big remake on offense, a new offensive coordinator brought in. They're going to shift to more of an up-tempo and a passing attack than what they've been in the last 4 years under Coach Kim Dameron. And the quarterback is a big question mark right now, who that's going to be. They have one back from last year. They brought in a couple of transfers. They all competed pretty evenly in the spring, and there's not a clear starter going into fall camp. So Eastern fans will be happy to see the system because it's much more like the system that the Panthers had back in 2012 and 13 when they won back-to-back conference championships and broke all sorts of school records on offense. But Jimmy Garoppolo was the quarterback on that team. My understanding is he's playing for a different team this fall, so it may not go as well as it did back in 12 and 13.
When you think back to last year, you brought up the quarterback issues. Heading into the year, I think everyone knew that Mitch Kimball, of course, had past injury issues, and unfortunately it reared its ugly head early last year, which is why Scott Gilkey Jr. got some starts last year in 5 games. He did go 4-1 in those starts. But at the same time, you said it's kind of an open competition. So knowing there's so many different guys going to get a shot at this ordeal, how interesting is this quarterback battle do you think it will be?
It's certainly, I think, the most interesting position battle on the Eastern team. Really the last 2 years, the quarterback situation has been kind of the proverbial revolving door with injuries. They started 3 different quarterbacks last year. I think they started 4 different quarterbacks the previous year, and Gilkey did start about half of the games last year. The offense was very conservative with him. He is a pretty good runner, but they did not show a lot of confidence in his passing. I think his passing is improved. Now, they need a drop-back pocket passer right now, and it'll be interesting to see if he can be that guy.
When I think back to last year's game, Mike, at Memorial Stadium between these two teams, it was, I guess, almost kind of encompassing of what the years would be, really relying on their defenses in that game. I know Indiana State was able to have a really strong second half against the Panthers, vice versa. Indiana State really couldn't move the ball against Eastern Illinois' defense. Is that going to be kind of the same story this year for the Panthers? How do they look like on the defensive side of the ball?
I think the defense will be solid. Kim Dameron, the head coach, is a defensive guy. His defenses have been pretty consistent during his time here, and I would not expect that to change. They lost a couple of their star players from last year, but they really got a pretty good number of starters and a lot of depth guys back that they ought to be able to piece together into a good defense. They just felt like they had to rely on that defense way too much last year and really hoped the offense didn't lose the game and let the defense hold them in it and try to take advantage of some mistakes late. And they did it was such an amazing year for Eastern last year. They won 6 games, 3 in overtime, the other 3 literally on the next to last play of the game, like the one in Terre Haute. They could have been 0-11 with just a little bit of bad luck, and instead they wound up 6-5.
It should be a fun night at O'Brien Field. That will be September 15th. It will be 6 o'clock over in Charleston, 7 o'clock local here in Terre Haute. Again, not too far away. It won't be a long travel day for Indiana State to go over and take on Eastern Illinois. And doing the opponent preview for Eastern Illinois is the play-by-play man, Mike Brad of Eastern Illinois. Mike, we always appreciate the time. Look forward to making that short trip over to Charleston come September.
All right, Luke, good to talk with you. See you in September.